Here is Lingling district. Stand on the overpass next to Shanghai labor market and look down to see all the day labor workers sleeping on the ground. They can't even afford $2 a bed for the night, so they just lie down on the steps. Look, this is Shenzhen. This is the overpass, Shenzhen East Station. See? Homeless people. These people are carrying luggage, both men and women. They settle down here. This is Shenzhen. All these scenes. Some elderly people resemble artists. I won't disturb them. Musicians too. And their clothes are hung there. China's economy has declined sharply, with many factories closing down and enterprises downsizing, resulting in a large number of migrant workers losing their jobs. In cities like Shenzhen and Shanghai, young people have to sleep under bridges, in parks, or on the streets because they can't find jobs and can't afford rent. China's youth unemployment rate remains high, and new terms to describe the plight of young people continue to be coined. Following rotten-tailed child and full-time kids, a new word has recently appeared in China: full-time obedient grandson. Analysts believe that only retirees in the CCP government system have the financial ability to support full-time obedient grandsons, which is a helpless move of young people under the pressure of unemployment. Today, we'll discuss these topics. But before we do, we would like to invite you to subscribe. Your support is our greatest motivation and allows us to bring you more valuable content. Now, moving on.
今天偶然来到深圳东站的
Today, I came here by chance on the second floor of the annex building of Shenzhen East Station, and I found that there was such a group of people. They slept on the ground like this every day, lying on a mat and sleeping on the ground. I have been in Shenzhen for more than 20 years. How come I didn't find this situation? Later, I asked a friend, and he said that these people are most likely doing odd jobs in Shenzhen, sleeping here every night after work and possibly during the day as well. The hardship of life can be imagined. In comparison, how happy is it for me to have a place to live now? Sleeping on the street is the last resort for the most helpless. After the resignation, I left the company on the same day and did not choose to return to my hometown. I want to stay in the big city, seeking opportunities. After getting off the subway, I looked for a park because I had nowhere to stay that night. When I arrived at the park gate, I found that some parks in Shanghai were closed at night. I was at a loss. Later, I found the nearest park on the map, which was 10 kilometers away. I was reluctant to spend the money on a taxi. I dragged my suitcase and walked to the park tiredly. It was already 1 a.m. when I arrived. There were no pedestrians. It may be difficult for everyone to imagine how to choose when being in a desperate situation. The corridor in the park was filthy, but I didn't mind it. I lay down directly, exhausted. I was very scared at night because I had a suitcase and was afraid of being robbed. I was easily awakened by the slightest movement at night. At 5 a.m. on the second day, I dared to go to sleep when it began to brighten. At 10 o'clock, it started to rain again. I bought 2 steamed buns and spent the whole morning like this. It was still raining in the afternoon, so I stayed in a 24-hour convenience store. With experience, I slept directly on the side of the road on the second night because there were surveillance cameras and streetlights on the roadside. I was very lonely and helpless, with no one to rely on or talk to. Maybe everyone has had this feeling. I may also go to sleep in the park in 2 days. I don't have a job at the moment. I worked in a factory a few days ago. I left and almost spent all my money. I may find a park and sleep there in 2 days. I didn't expect to end up like this when I came to Shenzhen for the first time. At this age, I really feel that I am useless. I don't even have a decent job and have to sleep in the park. Am I crippled? Almost. Tell me, how many people are like me? No job recently. I saw many people sleeping under the bridge in Shenzhen. Maybe I'll join them. Having no money in Shenzhen, how can you survive? Come, follow me. Let's skip the restaurants like this one outside. Usually, free food in crowded places like this. Let's go in and take a look. We got the food so we don't have to worry about going hungry tonight. Let's find a deserted place on the second floor and start to eat, brothers. After eating, enjoy another complimentary cup of cold tea. After eating and drinking, you don't have to worry about sleeping on the street. Since there are internet cafes, simply find one. There are not many people in the internet cafes now. Let's find one and lie flat directly. Let's see how much it costs to live in the most prosperous CBD in Shenzhen. Refuse to rent a place and live in a car. Get up, rent is 0 yuan. Go brush your teeth, water is 0 yuan, and toothpaste is 2 cents. It's really inconvenient to live in a car and wash, but it's also really cost-saving. The cheapest small studio here costs $420, which fee I saved in exchange for a 100-meter work distance, which takes 2 minutes to walk. No need to squeeze into the subway every day. At noon, my girlfriend and I each had a bowl of mixed noodles at the restaurant downstairs, costing $2 each. The noodles tasted okay, but there was too little meat, and I rated it as 6 points. After eating, because it was almost time to go to work, I didn't go back to the car to sleep, but lay down at the workstation. I went to work directly in the afternoon. The company had a meeting and the anchor took the equipment to shoot people, so I was off work soon. My girlfriend went out to play with her bestie and I had dinner downstairs alone, and I chose fast food again. It looks delicious, but I must hold back, otherwise it'll be $4 for such a small amount. My heart is bleeding, but the taste is okay, and the bamboo shoots are especially delicious. Today's consumption is $6. There are not many people in Foshan now. There are almost no people on the street. The crowded scene in the past is gone forever. The factories are empty one after another and can't be rented out. There used to be a lot of people in the malls here, but now there are not many people in them. Many malls are empty, including some entrepreneurial parks this year. There are visibly fewer people than last year. Physical stores are miserable, with business getting worse day by day. For example, there were really a lot of people in our Shenzhen furniture city before, but now every store owner is so idle that they are swatting flies. Shenzhen, a first-tier city, is now deserted that even the fast food restaurant business is struggling. I have been running a fast food restaurant in the village for over 8 years. The store's turnover was $110 yesterday, but it dropped to $70 today. It's getting worse day by day, and I really feel like I can no longer bear it. We spent $15,000 to buy this store. At that time, there were few competitors around, and the rent was not expensive. The store was very busy at mealtime, and the business was pretty good. Although it was a bit hard and tiring, I felt at ease. Today at 12 noon, it should have been the busiest time, but the store had only a few customers. Now, this street in the urban village is full of restaurants, and there are more stores than people. Everyone is struggling. Paying the rent has become a problem, let alone making money. Yesterday, again, a peer of mine closed down. He spent around $20,000 on renovations and equipment, and it took more than 2 months to complete. The daily turnover was only $50. He closed down because he couldn't hold on any longer. We are now in a dilemma and can only play it by ear. I was laid off all of a sudden. I was summoned in the morning and went through the resignation procedures in the afternoon, and no need to come tomorrow. As a graduate of Xi'an University of Electronic Science and Technology, which is one of China's top 100 universities, with experience working at major internet companies such as Meituan, I don't expect to be laid off at the age of 30. After my husband learned the news, he came to the subway entrance to pick me up after work. Why was this suddenly laid off? Didn't the leader suddenly summon me over today? Just talk about this. I feel empty now. Don't know what to do. Quite anxious. Don't overthink. Hurry up and take a break. Let me take you to have something delicious. What are the plans of your colleagues who were laid off? Most of them are saying to adjust, take a break, and then continue to find a job. There was a programmer in 1989 who just bought a condo in Shenzhen last year. He is under a lot of pressure. He has to pay the mortgage every month and raise the children. His wife is not working because of the child. I hope he can find a job, even if it's an outsourcing job, anyway, to make some money first. Actually, I can accept layoffs because this is the general environment. However, being married without children and being laid off at the age of 30, I suddenly feel hopeless and really feel like I can't find a job. Don't think too much, I still have a job. How are the college students who come to Shenzhen and strive here now? I am 24 years old this year. I am an ordinary college student. In the 2 years since graduation, I have changed jobs 5 times and moved 3 times. Now I am unemployed again. This is my first year in Shenzhen. I thought there were many opportunities here and I could find a good job, but the reality is quite harsh. I found a job with a monthly salary of $840, but I had to commute 2 hours every day. It was too tiring, so I quit within half a month. Now, I live in the home of a family member. Although I don't have to pay rent, I still feel embarrassed, so I want to find a job and be independent as soon as possible. I graduated in 2023, majoring in preschool education. Except for internships in kindergartens, the jobs I found later were not related to my major. Recently, I've been busy submitting resumes and making appointments for interviews every day, but I was either refused or became a tool for others to brush their KPIs. I feel really sad. In the past 1 or 2 months in Shenzhen, I feel that time has passed quickly and painfully. I thought that I could handle it at the beginning, but now I'm particularly anxious because I can't find a job. I plan to learn a skill recently and then slowly do self-media. Although I'm not sure about the future, I always believe that more learning is a good thing. I hope to get a foothold in Shenzhen gradually in the future. Stand firm. Let's work hard together. Hi, I'm Lingling. I dived into Shenzhen from Chaoshan after graduating from junior high school at the age of 15. I thought I could change my life by hard work, but I didn't expect that every step I took in the city would be bloody. Just arrived, I was caught off guard by the epidemic. The company stopped working and the income was zero. The monthly rent of $140 for a small room became a heavy burden. I had to eat instant noodles during the day and suffer from insomnia at night due to anxiety. Finally, the lockdown was lifted, but what I got was a layoff notice. Seeing the cross-border e-commerce boom, I followed my boss to start as a packer. The boss vowed to teach me step by step, but 2 years later, I am still struggling at the bottom and have not even touched the door of operation. In a fit of anger, I spent $1,300 to sign up for e-commerce courses, but after learning, I found that it was all words on paper and useless at all. I joined a startup with great enthusiasm, but I spent all my savings in 1 month. I encountered setbacks in job hunting, and finally I left in disgrace, even giving up the rental deposit. However, we post-2000s refuse to believe in failure. This time, we want to start a business again with nothing and fight bloody in the arena. I am 25 years old, unmarried, and childless. I have saved $700 after graduation for 4 years. I guess no one is worse off than I. Over the years, I have been to Wuhan, Shanghai, and Shenzhen. For ordinary girls like me, born into a lower-class background, going to a big city means indeed a great opportunity. When youth is at its hottest, it's really suitable for you to go out and see more. I came to Guangdong by accident for love in 2025, but I didn't expect that both my relationship and career would be hit. He is in his hometown, and I am in Shenzhen. His indifference and regular polite greetings made me fall into a long period of tears, so I took the initiative to end my first relationship in my life. I couldn't find a job when I first came to Shenzhen. I found a survival job with a monthly salary of $560, and after working for 3 months, I was unemployed again. My life is really terrible. However, I will never give up fighting for a good life. Blogger Princess Guagua believes that to establish a foothold in Shenzhen, one must face the following challenges. The first is that there are many young people in Shenzhen. You may think that it's full of vitality, but in fact, it's the opposite. There is no vitality at all. Everyone is lifeless every day. On the entire subway, you can see that everyone's facial expressions are a kind of lifeless expression. No one is happy, including colleagues at work. There is nothing in life that can make us happy. Most people don't make much money. Then Shenzhen has no human touch. When you deal with something, you can nicely call the procedure efficient, but you can also be more factual and say people are all impatient. Basically, people simply follow the assembly line and hurry up to get things done, including that when you see a doctor, you follow an assembly line style with one person every 5 minutes and then the next one. Even in the service industry, such as takeaways, waiters, and couriers, many of them are not very impatient. However, this is understandable. Everyone is unhappy, so it's normal. As for the second point, I personally feel quite lonely. If you come to Shenzhen alone and don't have friends to accompany you, you will most likely not make friends here. You have to face many things alone, and the pressure is relatively high, and you often can't sleep at night. China's youth unemployment rate remains high. Some young people who once thrived in the big cities choose to return home to be full-time obedient grandchildren because they failed to get a foothold in the workplace. In their view, it's better to go home to fulfill the filial piety than to struggle in the big city. WeChat public account Sanlian Life Laboratory reported that Xiao Ru, a 23-year-old full-time granddaughter, has been employed in her hometown in northeast China for 2 months. She said, "I can't save much money in a month in a big city, so I might as well go back to take care of my grandparents. If I'm not around, the old people will have to hire a caregiver anyway. It's not reassuring to hire an outsider, so it's better for me, the granddaughter, to do this job." Grandchildren taking care of the elderly can solve both social and family problems, which seems to be a good thing. Still, it also reflects China's current economic downturn and high employment pressure. It's a helpless move by young people and an abnormal phenomenon. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.